Welcome to this video. Today, we embark on a transformative journey, exploring the profound and timeless teachings of Buddhism. These ancient truths, shared over 2,500 years ago, remain as relevant today as they were during the Buddha's lifetime. In a world often characterized by restlessness, uncertainty, and suffering, the wisdom of the Buddha offers a clear path toward inner peace, resilience, and spiritual awakening. In this video, we delve into the essence of Buddhist philosophy, unlocking its potential to transform challenges into stepping stones for growth and illuminate the way to enduring happiness. At its heart, Buddhism teaches us that life is a delicate balance of joy and sorrow, light and shadow. Yet, it also assures us that through mindful living and compassionate understanding, we can transcend these dualities, discover the unshakable peace within us, and nurture a boundless love for all beings. Today, we will explore 9 essential teachings, each deeply rooted in the Buddha's path to enlightenment. These teachings are not mere theories or abstract ideas. They are practical tools that can empower you to cultivate clarity, compassion, and mindfulness. In a world filled with distractions, difficulties, and endless desires, these teachings act as a guide to help you rise above chaos and reclaim the serenity and purpose that is your birthright. The Buddha once said, "Just as a lamp cannot burn without oil, so a person cannot live without a spiritual life." Through these teachings, we aim to kindle that inner light within you, helping you to live a life of greater awareness, harmony, and fulfillment. Together, we will explore insights on embracing suffering as a teacher, protecting the sanctuary of your mind, practicing virtuous silence, and much more. As each teaching unfolds, it will reveal a profound truth, a timeless gem of wisdom that, when applied, has the power to shift your perspective and transform the way you approach life's challenges. These teachings are not just for scholars or monks. They are for everyone seeking to lead a more meaningful life, rooted in mindfulness and compassion. If you feel drawn to this path of wisdom and peace, we invite you to stay with us until the end. Each moment spent in contemplation and reflection is a step toward awakening the deeper potential within you. Your journey matters, and together, we can create a ripple of positive transformation within ourselves and the world around us. We also encourage you to join our community of seekers. By subscribing to our channel, you become part of a shared mission to spread wisdom and kindness. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up if you find value in this video, and share your reflections in the comments below. Each comment contributes to the collective understanding, inspiring others to walk this path with courage and an open heart. Let us now begin this sacred journey, step by step, as we explore the profound teachings of the Buddha and uncover the wisdom that has the power to transform your life. Let's begin. Teaching 1. Embrace suffering as a path to growth. The Buddha, in his profound wisdom, taught that suffering, dukkha, is an inherent part of existence. It touches every life, from the smallest inconveniences to the deepest heartbreaks. Yet, far from being a punishment or a curse, suffering holds the potential to be our greatest teacher. It reveals the transient nature of life, reminding us that all things, whether joyful or sorrowful, are impermanent. The Buddha's teachings guide us to meet suffering not with resistance or despair, but with courage and understanding, transforming it into a catalyst for growth and liberation. At the heart of this teaching lies the 4 Noble Truths, the foundation of Buddhist philosophy. These truths illuminate the reality of suffering, its origins, and its cessation. The first truth acknowledges suffering as an inescapable part of the human condition. The second truth points to the cause of suffering, our attachment, craving, and clinging to desires that cannot be permanently satisfied. The third truth offers hope, teaching that by letting go of attachment, we can free ourselves from suffering. Finally, the fourth truth provides the practical path to liberation, the Noble Eightfold Path. When challenges arise, instead of avoiding them or reacting with anger or frustration, pause and turn inward. Reflect on the source of your discomfort. Is it a desire for things to be different from what they are? Is it an attachment to an outcome or a resistance to change? Through mindfulness, begin to observe your emotions without judgment. Notice how they arise, stay for a time, and eventually pass, much like waves on the ocean. Equanimity, or balanced calmness, is another vital tool in this practice. It allows us to meet suffering with steadiness and composure, without being swept away by emotional turbulence. Cultivating equanimity does not mean suppressing your feelings, but rather approaching them with gentle awareness, accepting them as they are. To navigate suffering skillfully, align your actions with the Eightfold Path. Practice right view, understanding the impermanence of all things. Cultivate right intention, directing your thoughts toward compassion and letting go of harmful desires. Speak with kindness and truth through right speech. Act with integrity through right action, and choose livelihoods that cause no harm with right livelihood. Be diligent in pursuing good habits with right effort. Stay fully present through right mindfulness, and deepen your understanding with right concentration. Through these practices, suffering is no longer a burden to be avoided, but a bridge to profound wisdom and boundless compassion. Each difficulty becomes an opportunity to see more clearly, to grow stronger, and to connect more deeply with the universal truths of existence. When you embrace suffering as part of the human experience and as a gateway to spiritual awakening, you begin to see the beauty in life's challenges. You discover that, just as the lotus flower blooms from the mud, wisdom and peace arise from the trials we endure with mindfulness and an open heart. Take a moment today to reflect on a recent difficulty in your life. What did it teach you about yourself, your attachments, and your inner strength? By viewing suffering as a teacher, you honor the Buddha's wisdom and take the first steps on the path to liberation. Teaching 2. Guard your inner sanctuary. In the vast treasury of Buddhist wisdom, the Buddha often likened the mind to a fertile garden. Within this garden, the seeds of thoughts, emotions, and intentions are sown daily. Just as a gardener tends to their plants with care, removing weeds, watering healthy growth, and nurturing blossoms, we too must diligently care for the inner sanctuary of our mind. This is where our true self resides, and it is here that peace, wisdom, and spiritual growth take root. The Buddha warned of the dangers of neglecting this inner garden. Negative emotions, such as anger, envy, greed, and doubt, are like invasive weeds. Left unchecked, they can overrun the mind, choking out the space needed for kindness, compassion, and wisdom to flourish. Similarly, if we allow others unrestricted access to this sacred space, we risk inviting unnecessary harm. Not everyone who enters your life will nurture your inner growth. Some may bring judgment, negativity, or misunderstanding that can disrupt your serenity. The teachings of the Buddha encourage us to guard this sanctuary with mindfulness and discernment. Mindfulness allows us to become aware of our thoughts and emotions as they arise. Instead of letting negativity take root, we can observe these mental weeds without attachment and gently let them go. At the same time, discernment helps us recognize who we can safely share our vulnerabilities with. Those who offer compassion, understanding, and encouragement, and who may harm our peace. Guarding your inner sanctuary doesn't mean isolating yourself or shutting out the world. It means creating boundaries that protect your spiritual growth and well-being. Imagine a serene temple atop a mountain. The temple is open to those who come with reverence and good intentions, but remains shielded from forces that might disturb its sanctity. Similarly, you can welcome trusted companions into your life while preserving the integrity of your inner self. To cultivate this practice, reflect on these steps. 1. Practice self-awareness. Begin by observing your thoughts and emotions. Notice which ones bring you peace and growth, and which ones create unrest or harm. 2. Create healthy boundaries. Be mindful of who you share your thoughts, dreams, and fears with. Share selectively and with those whose intentions align with your well-being. 3. Nurture positive qualities. Regularly cultivate compassion, patience, and wisdom in your mind. Replace anger with understanding, envy with appreciation, and doubt with confidence in the Dharma. 4. Let go of judgments. Release the need to seek validation or approval from others. The Buddha taught that true peace comes from within, not from external acknowledgement. By guarding your inner sanctuary, You preserve the calm and clarity needed for spiritual progress. Just as a well-tended garden brings joy and nourishment, a protected mind blossoms with wisdom and tranquility. As you go about your day, take a moment to ask yourself, am I allowing negativity to invade my mind? Am I sharing too much of my inner self with those who might not respect it? Gently redirect your energy to strengthen the boundaries around your inner world. This is not an act of selfishness, but one of self-care and respect for the sacred space within you. In guarding your mind, you align with the Buddhist teachings and create a refuge where the seeds of enlightenment can flourish. Let your inner sanctuary be a source of peace, a haven of growth, and a beacon of wisdom for yourself and others. Teaching 3. Let your actions speak. In the teachings of the Buddha, true virtue is measured not by words or accolades, but by the purity of one's intentions and the quiet strength of one's actions. The Buddha illuminated the profound truth that the merit of a good deed diminishes when performed with the expectation of recognition or praise. Instead, he urged his followers to practice selflessness, humility, and silent generosity, for it is in such acts that the heart is purified and the spirit grows closer to the Dharma. The Buddha taught that the intention behind an action determines its true worth. A kind act performed for applause feeds the ego rather than the soul, while a kind act done quietly, without seeking acknowledgement, nurtures both the giver and the receiver. This practice is rooted in the principle of dana, or generosity, which is one of the foundational qualities of a virtuous life. In the silence of selfless giving, the ego dissolves, and the mind opens to deeper compassion and understanding. Reflect on the lotus flower, a powerful symbol in Buddhist teachings. The lotus blooms beautifully and silently, offering its fragrance and beauty without seeking recognition. It grows in muddy waters, yet remains untouched by impurity, a reminder that true virtue rises above the distractions of the world. Like the lotus, when you perform acts of kindness or generosity, allow them to flow naturally and without the weight of expectation. To embody this teaching, consider these practices. 1. Act with purity of heart. Before performing a kind deed, pause and examine your intention. Are you acting from a place of love, compassion, or duty to the Dharma? If so, proceed without concern for how others may perceive your actions. 2. Avoid seeking validation. Refrain from sharing your good deeds for the sake of praise. Instead, carry the quiet joy of giving within your heart, knowing that your actions align with the path of enlightenment. 3. Practice humility. Remember that every opportunity to help another being is a gift, not only to them, but to yourself. By serving others, you cultivate compassion, wisdom, and connection to the universal truths of life. 4. Celebrate the act, not the outcome. Focus on the process of giving rather than the results or reactions. The act of helping itself is a profound expression of the Dharma, regardless of external acknowledgement. The Buddha's teachings remind us that when our actions arise from a place of genuine compassion, they resonate far beyond the immediate moment. A silent act of generosity or kindness ripples outward, touching lives in ways we may never know. In the process, it also purifies our own hearts, lifting us closer to the serenity of the middle way. As you move through life, let your actions speak louder than words. Extend a helping hand without announcing it. Offer kindness without expecting it to be returned, and give freely without counting the cost. Each time you do so, you plant seeds of goodness in the world and within your own soul. Ask yourself today, am I giving with pure intention? Am I seeking recognition for my actions? Or am I content with the quiet joy of serving others? When your actions come from a place of selflessness and humility, you embody the Buddha's teaching and strengthen your connection to the Dharma. Let your deeds shine like a lantern in the dark, quietly illuminating the path for others while guiding your own journey toward wisdom and peace. This is the essence of true virtue, a silent offering of light, warmth, and love to all beings. Teaching 4. Find strength in silence. The Buddha, in his infinite wisdom, recognized the immense power of speech and the impact it has on ourselves and others. Words, like seeds scattered in fertile soil, have the potential to either nurture harmony or sow discord. For this reason, the Buddha emphasized the practice of right speech, an essential element of the Noble Eightfold Path. Right speech calls us to use our words with care, speaking only what is truthful, kind, and beneficial. Yet, it also reminds us of the sacred power of silence, which can often be the most profound and transformative response. The Buddha taught that before we speak, we must pause and reflect. Is what I am about to say true? Is it necessary? Will it cause harm, or will it bring peace? When our words fail to meet these criteria, silence becomes the wiser path. In silence, we avoid the pitfalls of anger, gossip, and ignorance, creating space for wisdom and compassion to arise. Silence is not the absence of communication. It is a form of deep connection with the present moment. It is the act of listening, both to others and to the quiet truths within ourselves. By cultivating silence, we develop mindfulness and equanimity, allowing us to respond to life with clarity and love, rather than reacting impulsively or defensively. To find strength in silence, consider these practices. 1. Pause before speaking. In moments of decision or emotional intensity, take a mindful breath before responding. Ask yourself whether your words will uplift or harm, clarify or confuse. Silence in such moments can prevent unnecessary conflict and create space for understanding. 2. Embrace silence as a response. When faced with anger, criticism, or ignorance, recognize that silence can be a powerful act of compassion. By refraining from reactive speech, you avoid escalating tension and instead foster peace. 3. Practice mindful listening. Use silence as a tool to listen deeply to others. When you truly hear someone without interrupting or formulating your response, you offer them the gift of your full presence. 4. Reflect on the impact of words. Take time to contemplate the times your speech has caused harm or brought healing. Use these reflections to guide your future communication. 5. Create space for inner silence. Set aside moments in your day to be in stillness, free from speech and external noise. This practice deepens your connection to the Dharma and helps you cultivate inner clarity. The Buddha compared words to arrows once released. They cannot be taken back. Harmful words can wound others and disrupt our own peace of mind. Conversely, kind and truthful words, when spoken mindfully, have the power to heal, inspire, and unite. Yet, silence, when chosen wisely, transcends both. It becomes a gateway to wisdom and a means to maintain harmony. In silence, we discover that not every situation requires a response, and not every emotion needs to be verbalized. Silence teaches us patience, restraint, and the value of thoughtful communication. It allows us to act not out of impulse but out of deep intention, aligning our words with the compassionate principles of the Eightfold Path. As you navigate your day, ask yourself, am I speaking from a place of kindness and clarity, or am I speaking out of habit, anger, or the desire to be heard? In moments of uncertainty, let silence guide you. Speak only when your words can shine like a lantern in the dark, illuminating the truth and fostering understanding. Through the strength of silence, we not only cultivate inner peace, but also create ripples of harmony that touch the lives of those around us. Silence, when rooted in mindfulness and compassion, becomes a profound expression of wisdom and love. Teaching 5. Avoid gossip and judgment. In the teachings of the Buddha, we are reminded to turn our gaze inward, cultivating self-awareness and understanding rather than directing our energy toward the flaws of others. The Buddha said, "As a solid rock is not shaken by the wind, the wise are not moved by praise or blame." This wisdom underscores the importance of remaining steadfast in our own practice, unaffected by the judgments of others, and refraining from passing judgment ourselves. Gossip and criticism, though tempting, often serve no purpose beyond feeding the ego. When we focus on the faults of others, we not only waste precious energy, but also risk clouding our own minds with negativity. Such behavior distracts us from the real work of spiritual growth, addressing our own imperfections and cultivating inner peace. The Buddha likened this to someone pointing out specks of dust in another's, while being unaware of the log in their own. True wisdom arises when we turn inward and begin the journey of self-reflection and self-improvement. Instead of gossiping or judging, Buddhism encourages the practice of metta, loving-kindness meditation. Metta involves generating goodwill and compassion for all beings, including those who may have wronged or annoyed us. By focusing on love and kindness rather than fault-finding, we transform our hearts, creating an inner refuge of peace and goodwill. To avoid gossip and judgment, and to align with the Buddha's teachings, consider the following practices. 1. Practice self-reflection. When you feel the urge to judge or gossip, pause and ask yourself why. Are you projecting your own insecurities onto others? Use this moment as an opportunity to turn inward and reflect on how you can grow. 2. Cultivate loving kindness. Dedicate time each day to metta meditation. Begin by generating compassion for yourself, then extend it outward to loved ones, acquaintances, and even those you find difficult. Let this practice soften your heart and diminish the desire to criticize. 3. Speak with mindfulness. Before speaking about others, ask yourself, is this true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? If the answer to any of these questions is no, choose silence instead. 4. Focus on uplifting others. Redirect the energy spent on judgment to uplifting those around you. Offer encouragement, express gratitude, or lend a helping hand. In doing so, you create an environment of harmony and mutual respect. 5. See the good in others. Actively look for positive qualities in the people you encounter. Recognizing their strengths helps to dissolve feelings of envy, resentment, or superiority. By avoiding gossip and judgment, we preserve our mental clarity and emotional well-being. This practice not only strengthens our own path, but also fosters a more compassionate and supportive environment for those around us. As the Buddha taught, hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal rule. When we let go of the habit of judging others, we open the door to love, understanding, and harmony. Imagine a community where everyone practices these principles, where words are spoken only to encourage, and judgments are replaced by kindness. Such an environment uplifts everyone within it, creating a ripple effect of peace and positivity. Ask yourself today, am I focusing on the faults of others instead of nurturing my own growth? Can I replace judgment with compassion? Each time you resist the urge to gossip or criticize, you take a step closer to embodying the Buddha's wisdom. Through mindfulness, metta, and self-reflection, we transcend the habit of gossip and judgment. In their place, we cultivate understanding, respect, and boundless love, aligning our lives with the noble truths of the Dharma. Teaching 6. Rejoice quietly in your virtues. In the teachings of the Buddha, virtue is not a means to an end, but a profound reward in itself. The Buddha taught that true merit arises from genuine, selfless actions, those performed not for recognition or applause, but for their intrinsic goodness. When we act from a place of purity and compassion, the very act itself becomes transformative, purifying our hearts and drawing us closer to the path of awakening. Virtuous deeds, such as kindness, generosity, and moral discipline, reflect the radiant potential within each of us. Yet, their power diminishes when tainted by the desire for acknowledgement or approval. The Buddha compared such boasting to carrying water in a leaky jar. No matter how much we fill it, the essence of our virtue escapes through the cracks of ego and pride. Instead, the Buddha encouraged quiet reflection and inner rejoicing. When you practice virtue, pause to acknowledge the purity of your intention. Recognize that every act of compassion, every moment of patience, and every choice to refrain from harm strengthens your connection to the three jewels: the Buddha as your guide, the Dharma as your path, and the Sangha as your supportive community. These moments are opportunities to deepen your practice, free from the distractions of external validation. To rejoice quietly in your virtues, consider these practices. 1. Reflect on your intentions. After performing a kind act or making a moral choice, take a moment to look inward. Was your intention pure? Did your actions arise from love, compassion, or a sense of duty to the Dharma? Recognize this goodness within yourself and let it fill you with quiet joy. 2. Release the need for recognition. When tempted to share your virtues with others, pause and ask yourself why. If the motivation is to seek approval or praise, choose silence instead. This cultivates humility and keeps your practice untainted. 3. Celebrate in solitude. Engage in a private moment of gratitude for your actions. Recognize how they align with your values and bring you closer to the path of liberation. 4. Strengthen your connection to the Dharma. Reflect on how your virtues uphold the teachings of the Buddha. Each act of kindness, generosity, or discipline reinforces the Eightfold Path and your commitment to spiritual growth. 5. Serve without expectation. Approach every opportunity for kindness as a gift in itself. Know that the merit of your actions lies not in the results or recognition, but in the purity of the effort. Virtue practiced quietly and sincerely creates ripples far beyond what we can see. It not only transforms your own heart, but also inspires others to act from a place of compassion and integrity. Imagine the world as a vast tapestry, with each virtuous act adding a bright, shining thread. Though unseen, your contributions become part of a collective fabric of goodness that benefits all beings. The Buddha often spoke of the joy that arises from a pure heart. He said, "The fragrance of flowers spreads only in the direction of the wind, but the goodness of a person spreads in all directions." This goodness, born of quiet virtues, is boundless and enduring. Today, reflect on the virtues you have cultivated. Have you acted with kindness, honesty, or generosity? Rejoice in these moments privately, knowing they align with the highest principles of the Dharma. As you deepen this practice, you will find that your heart grows lighter, your mind clearer, and your spirit more attuned to the infinite potential of compassion and wisdom. Through quiet rejoicing, you nurture a profound inner strength and humility, walking the path of the Buddha with grace and authenticity. Let your virtues shine not as a display for others, but as a light within, guiding you toward greater peace and liberation. Teaching 7. Transform weaknesses into strengths. In the profound teachings of the Buddha, the path to enlightenment begins with the courageous act of self-reflection. To walk the path of wisdom, one must first acknowledge the imperfections and weaknesses that lie within. The Buddha often used the metaphor of a charioteer guiding unruly horses to describe the mind. Just as a charioteer must skillfully control the horses to ensure the journey is safe and steady, so too must we guide the unruly tendencies of our minds. Our weaknesses, whether they manifest as anger, fear, impatience, or doubt, are not barriers to progress, but opportunities for growth. The Buddha taught that when we embrace our flaws with mindfulness, they become the very soil in which strength can be cultivated. Weaknesses, when managed skillfully, can transform into sources of power. A person who is prone to anger can develop the strength of patience. One who is consumed by fear can cultivate the courage to face challenges without hesitation. By recognizing our vulnerabilities and working directly with them, we are not defined by our weaknesses, but rather empowered to transcend them. Through the practice of mindfulness and meditation, we gain the ability to examine our inner landscape with clarity and compassion. When we observe our weaknesses without judgment, we begin to understand their roots, the fears, desires, and attachments that fuel them. In this moment of awareness, we can consciously choose to cultivate the opposite qualities that will lead us toward balance and peace. To transform weaknesses into strengths, consider these practices. 1. Acknowledge your vulnerabilities. Begin by accepting that weaknesses are a natural part of the human condition. Through mindfulness, observe your tendencies without self-criticism. Notice when anger arises, when fear takes hold, or when impatience clouds your mind. In this moment of awareness, know that you are not your weaknesses. You are the observer, the one who can choose how to respond. 2. Cultivate the opposite qualities. If anger arises, consciously breathe and invite patience. If fear grips you, bring courage into your heart through mindful awareness. If doubt unsettles you, practice trust in the teachings and in your own capacity for growth. These opposite qualities are not merely antidotes. They are the seeds of inner strength that, when nurtured, will grow into profound virtues. 3. Use meditation to deepen awareness. Through regular meditation, create space to sit with your weaknesses without attachment. In the stillness, explore how these qualities arise and pass away. Recognize that they are not permanent. They are impermanent, like all phenomena. Through this awareness, you begin to loosen their grip on your mind and transform them into wisdom. 4. Practice compassion for yourself. As you confront your weaknesses, offer yourself the same compassion you would offer a dear friend. Know that the path to enlightenment is not about perfection, but about progress. Each step you take toward managing your flaws with mindfulness and compassion is a step closer to liberation. 5. Transform your weaknesses into opportunities for growth. Every time you encounter a weakness, view it as an opportunity for spiritual growth. If you feel overwhelmed by anger, use that moment to deepen your practice of patience. If you struggle with fear, see it as an invitation to cultivate courage. In this way, each challenge becomes a stepping stone toward greater strength and clarity. The Buddha taught that the way to freedom is through the transformation of suffering. In the same way, our weaknesses, when skillfully understood and managed, become the very tools that free us from the cycle of craving, attachment, and ignorance. Like the charioteer who gains mastery over the horses, we gain mastery over our minds, guiding them with wisdom and compassion toward the goal of enlightenment. As you reflect on your own weaknesses today, ask yourself, what tendencies am I struggling with? How can I cultivate the opposite qualities to transform these weaknesses into strengths? By embracing this process, you learn to see your weaknesses not as burdens, but as powerful teachers on the path. With mindfulness, patience, and courage, you can transform every challenge into an opportunity for growth, bringing you closer to the peace and wisdom that lie at the heart of the Buddhist teachings. Thank you for joining this exploration of Buddhist wisdom. As we conclude this journey, may the teachings you've encountered today serve as a beacon of light, guiding you toward greater peace, clarity, and purpose in every aspect of your life. Remember, the path to enlightenment is not a distant destination, but a continual practice, one that begins with a single mindful step. Each moment of awareness, each act of compassion, brings you closer to the serene and boundless wisdom that lies within. By integrating these teachings into your daily life, you cultivate not only your own well-being, but also contribute to the harmony of the world around you. Continue to grow with patience, to reflect with insight, and to act with kindness. The journey of awakening is ongoing, and every step you take brings you closer to the deep peace and enlightenment that the Buddha spoke of. If you found value in this video, we invite you to join us on this path of discovery. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, so you can continue exploring the timeless wisdom of Buddhism and the path to true inner peace. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up and share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your journey and reflections can inspire others on their own path. Keep practicing, keep growing, and may your heart be filled with light. Thank you for being here. We look forward to walking this path with you. Namaste.